Hey folks, it's Jim. Just showing you how I prep my eggshells for the garden. You can see how these are a lot finer than these other ones here. And these actually have some wet in them. And what I do is I just crush them like this. Camera's probably vibrating, sorry about that, but I won't do it too much. And I keep going, and I'll go a lot harder, but we got the camera going. But you can see, and eventually they just start winding up to this fine dust. You know, and keep crushing these, because as you move them around, you got your big pieces float back up, right? And I just keep going, and then pretty soon I have perfect egg dust for the garden that won't cut my roots. Now, why do I use such a big old tool like this? Well, one, it's bent, but two, it gives me some upper body exercise to use this big old tool to do this simple job, right? And the end of this is so worn and rounded that it's perfect to get in and around the nooks and the crannies and everything. Now, if you have some type of stone bowl or wood bowl or something, it would probably be a lot better. But you can see with this handle, I can get in this nook over here. I can crush it up. I just keep going, and pretty soon I've got a perfect little dust that won't cut my roots in the garden. It's not quite done yet. It's going to take me another 5 minutes of crushing, and then I'll go. And these are wet, so I brought these out because I was getting ready to do these. I was working these and getting ready to do these. I first crush them with my hands, just throw them in here, let them dry, right? And then I crush them and make the fine powder. And once it's really fine, it just goes right in the garden, and we don't have to worry about cutting our roots, right? And because I'm going to throw this on top, then I till, right? I don't, I till it in, and that way this will get the egg shells, if you've been adding eggshells to your garden, to break down like and give nutrients to the soil, you know, 20 times faster than if we just throw lightly broken up eggshells into our gardens, right? Plus those eggshells, they're sharp, and they will break the, they'll cut the roots. So I just wanted to share, this is how I do it. I got another 5 minutes to get this to a really fine breakdown. Then I'll add it to the garden till, and these will be ready before I do the final till on the garden. And they'll be nice and dry and crushed down, and I'll add these, and this is a healthy way to get nutrients into our soils that doesn't cost us any money. It's actually a chore, and if we do it with something like this, we can get some upper body exercise and whatnot. And that's what I do. I try to incorporate simple jobs like this that are boring and mundane into exercise for my life. Maybe that's something you might think about too. But anyway, one more point about eggshells. If you're using other people's eggshells, make sure they're not hormone and antibiotic laden, because that's what you're going to be putting in your garden. So think about that strongly. I use free-range eggs from either friends or ones that I purchased at the store that are free-range, no antibiotics, no hormones added. And that's just something to consider if you're planning on, you know, if you want an organic garden and all of that, because I really don't think any of that stuff's good. So I don't want it in my garden in any way, shape, or form. But you know, you can do whatever you want, but that's just for me. And I know lots of people with their chickens and stuff that bring me eggs. So, and I eat a lot of eggs. Eggs are an awesome superfood. They're just rediscovering that. And so I eat a ton of eggs, and I don't even worry about the amount. I mean, this will easily do the space that I need, these two right here. And this is all I really need for the year to get my soil potent. And next year, I'll have a whole bucket of this, like I've already poured out there through the winter and the summer and all of that. And do the whole process again. And yeah, this is just a little bit. I've already poured a whole bucket out there. So anyway, just wanted to share this simple way to get some exercise for upper body, focus on your arms, and at the same time, and not strain yourself really, depending on how big a tool you use, I don't know. and at the same time make your eggs ready to add actual nutrition to your garden right away, rather than having to wait for the egg to break down itself. This really accelerates the amount of time that the eggshell actually releases nutrition back into the soil that our plants can use. So just something to think about. And again, if you have some kind of round stone, like, you know, where you can create a mortar and pestle type environment, you're going to grind this down to a fine dust. But you can see this is really fine, most of it already, and I've still got 5 more minutes at least of crushing to do. But look at that, it's almost like cornmeal, right? So anyway, and again, that's got a lot of work to do, doesn't it? So this has got about 10 minutes for me to go, but it's also got to dry first. That's part of the problem. You don't want wet stuff in there, you know what I mean? It clumps. So I leave it out here, let it dry on a sunny day like today. Well, partial sun. And then, but you see how that's clumpy from being wet. In fact, I'll throw that out, that skin. It's actually good for the soil, but I need this to dry so I can finish working it today. But yeah, just thought I'd share this with you. I know, simple stuff, but some people may have just been crushing up eggshells a little bit, adding them to their garden, and then winding up having cut roots and wondering why the eggshells aren't nourishing the plants. Well, it takes some work. We got to grind these down to get eggshells to really nourish our soil, right? And protect the roots of our garden. So anyway, I hope you're all doing well, and exercise, free fertilizer, which is outstanding stuff, isn't it? Especially if you're growing squash and pumpkins and things like that. They love the eggshells, don't they? Anyway, hope you're all doing well, and another simple way to make your own compost and or your own fertilizer, plant food, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, Jim out.